So what I want to talk about is income. And the reason I think it's so important, I guess is pretty obvious, but we don't talk about income very much. We all started in some way or another for the income, I'm guessing. And it really does a disservice to all of us if I'm not helping you figure out what the best way is to make your maximum income. So I'm going to tell you bare basics, okay? Because a lot of our compensation plan and a lot of the making money part, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know everything about it. And it's a lot to understand, and it really does take a lot of learning. But I'm making a full-time income currently. You know that. I just stepped away from teaching. And I know the bare basics. I really feel like I do. I feel like I have a lot to learn. So I want you to know that you don't have to know everything in order to make a full-time income. So this is probably the most basic talk you're ever going to hear about income, but I want to tell you what I have focused on in my first couple of years to really make the income that I wanted. And I was somebody who came into coaching for income. Like, I was never apologetic about it. That was just, I mean, for me, I wanted to pay off loans. And that was the first thing I did was like, okay, I asked Megan, tell me how I can make money. First of all, tell me how I can break even every single month because that's a non-negotiable for me. And then the second thing I wanted to do was make $1,000 a month. So I worked really hard towards that and it happened. So I'm just going to share what I have with you. I have a PowerPoint. It's the best way for me to share information, I feel like. So I will share my screen with you. And at any time, seriously, stop me, ask questions. Because if you're confused about something, I want to help you understand. Can you see this? Okay. So the other thing I really want to mention is you can make really good money just on part-time. Not everybody, I don't know that any of you right here on this call necessarily want to go full-time, but that does not mean that you cannot make a full-time income. I was making a full-time income on part-time coaching. And all of you can do the same. Anybody can do the same. And I think that's the coolest thing about what we do is we can make a good amount of money in a small amount of time every single day. Not like you're not going to make a good amount of money, in your first or second month. But once you stay consistent, you can make a good amount of money in small amounts of time every day. Hey, Morgan. Okay. So I think one of the very first things is you have to quit shaming yourself about wanting to make money doing this business and understanding that you are spending a very good amount of time, a very good amount of brain energy to do this, and it's okay to get paid. So if any thought ever crosses your mind, especially whenever you're sharing about coaching or you're sharing about your groups and you're like, oh, do people think that I'm doing this just for the money? Who cares if they think that? You are doing it for money, and that's okay. Your regular 9-to-5 job, you've probably never worried, oh, is somebody worried I'm doing this for money? Of course they're not worried about that because that is what you're doing. If you and I did this for free, we would be crazy because I spend a ton of time, like a lot of time. And sometimes my time looks like, laying in bed at night and brainstorming on accident because I can't turn my brain off. But you are doing honorable work and you are providing a real service for people that they wouldn't have without you. So it's okay to make money doing it. And that's something I want you to really think about is if you ever get into that point of shaming yourself or thinking, it's all about the money and it shouldn't be about that. That's not the case. It is okay to make money by what we do. Okay, so my first goal as a coach was to make $1,000 a month. And I think that a really good timeline is 6 months to give yourself. I'm not going to explain this because the link right here is what I studied and that's the way I did it. So that's the way I'm going to tell you to do it as well. That link is from Beachbody. It is super short, super easy to digest. And I looked at it within the first week of coaching. I was like, all right, that's doable. But the basics are help 3 people every single month and be consistent in your business. I helped 3 people a month consistently when I started, and more than that actually. And by month 6, started in June, in January, I think for the first time I saw $1,000 a month. And one other thing with that is making sure that your clients are recurring clients. So like whenever somebody signs up with you, making sure that you're helping them get good results and they're your client month after month. That's a really big part of it. So take a look at that if that's something you're interested in. I hope that's something you're interested in. If you are anything more than a hobby coach, I would imagine that $1,000 a month is a really good goal for you. Commission. So I'm going to talk about the 2 ways that we make money. I'm going to break some things down, and I'm going to show you my progression of the money I've made, basically, because I want you to know it's possible. I think sometimes I've shied away from sharing with you because I don't want you to think that I'm in it all for the money, but I think you know my heart well enough to know, of course, if you're in it all for the money, you're not going to last because it's hard. I love what we do and I'm passionate about it. And I think it's so cool that we can make a good amount of money doing what we do. So the first way we make money is commission. We get 25% to 40% of everything we sell. And that's a really good percentage of what we sell, and that's really, really cool. We sell fitness programs, nutrition programs, supplements, apparel, etc. And we make 40% on challenge packs specifically. So not only do you get Success Club points from challenge packs, but you get your largest percentage of commission, which is pretty cool. And for me, challenge packs are the things I sell the most often because that's the best deal for our customers, really. And I always tell them, like, I cannot guarantee you results if you're just going to get the workouts. This is what I do. I do it all. And for you to be guaranteed, or for me to tell you and feel like I can tell you you're going to get the results, that's why I'm recommending this package. So I would highly encourage you to figure out how you best sell challenge packs, because those are the most bang for their buck and it moves your business forward more. But I do want you to know that commission will not create a full-time income by itself. And you can make a full-time income on part-time hours. I want to keep saying that, because just because you make a full-time income, that does not mean that you're looking to do it full-time. You can absolutely make full-time money on a part-time job with this, and it's so cool. But commission, if you're trying to build your business on that alone, you're going to run yourself crazy, because commission, it changes. Some months you're going to hit Success Club 10, and some months you're going to hit Success Club 20, and that's okay. And you need to be okay with that, instead of running yourself ragged thinking, oh, I've got to hit like you might be thinking to make full-time, you're going to have to hit like Success Club 50 every month. And that's just not the case. That's why we're not going to rely on commission whenever we're building up our income. So the thing that I really want you to start thinking about is team cycle bonuses. Some of you on the call are making team cycle bonuses already, and some of you are not. And this is a game changer in your business. And team cycle bonuses are the consistent, the sustainable piece of your income. So in order to start earning team cycle bonus, you have to be an emerald. Emerald, just to put it simply, I'm not going to go into great detail. You are an active coach. You have one active coach on your right leg. You have one active coach on your left leg. And when your whole team is seeing success, and your whole team is moving their businesses forward and they are helping people, then you're going to make a team cycle bonus. So this stuff that I have underneath here, that's straight off of Beachbody. So something else I want to mention quickly is, if you're ever in a position that you're like, I don't understand our compensation plan, or I don't get team cycle bonuses, I don't understand how it cycles, it's all out there. It is. I'm 2 years in, and I still have to study this stuff. I want to understand, and I want you to understand too, because knowledge is power. And when you know how our compensation plan works, and you know exactly how you're making money, then you're going to be able to maximize your income. And I think that's extremely important. So what is team volume? That's a really important part, because team volume leads to your team cycle bonuses. So your team volume is generated by the sales made by your coaches on your left and your right legs of your entire downline. So if you've never heard this, or you've never thought about this, you have a strong leg and you have a weak leg. And usually your strong leg is the leg that you're going to see those extra people on it that you don't recognize their names, because when you sign up and I add somebody as my coach after you, you are rewarded with their team volume as well. And I know that might sound confusing. If you have questions about any of this, number one, you can ask right here, but we can always set aside some time for us to chat, and you have all the resources you need on Beachbody to really understand what all this means. So essentially, you earn a cycle, you earn a team cycle bonus when your accumulated team volume totals 300 points. Okay, so the way I think about this, you've got to have 200 points on one side, 100 points on the other side. It'll take, so here are your two legs. It will take 200 points away from your strong leg. So let's say this is your strong leg, 100 points away from your weak leg. And as many times as it can subtract those numbers without going in the negative, that's how many team cycle bonuses you are going to get. Okay, so it is your strong leg. The easiest way I can think about it to maximize your team cycle bonuses, you want your strong leg to be double your weak leg. That's the way I think about it. And you don't really have to think a lot about your team volume until you're diamond, and I would say even a solid diamond, because whenever you're building to diamond, you don't really have the option of where you're putting people, because you need 4 coaches on your right, 4 coaches on your left, and we say to be stable, you want 6 and 6. So you're not really thinking about which side you're going to put people on. At this point in my business, I'm pretty strategic about where I'm placing coaches, because I want my team volume, I want my team cycle bonuses to be maximized, so I have to think more about it. And once you get there, we'll talk about it. I'll help you. Megan helped me immensely. So don't forget about that. I think I covered everything on that one. Oh, if there is carryover, it does roll over to the next week of payment. So team cycle bonuses are usually pretty consistent, and that's why it's so important to begin building your team. My team cycle bonuses, they fluctuate a little bit, but for the most part, I can count on them to be around the same amount for the most part every week, at least close to it. So part of rank advancing is changing your team cycle bonus. So once you hit Emerald, you're making $14 every single time you cycle. So every single time it's able to subtract 200 and 100 and you still have some left, you're going to make $14 per cycle. And there is a cap, but it's pretty dang high. There's a cap of how many times you can cycle for each of these, and for each rank, the cap goes up. If you're Ruby, you're making $16 per cycle, and if you're Diamond or above, you're going to make $18 per cycle, and that adds up really quickly. Like if you're having, if your team volume is up in the thousands, and it is cycling at $18 every single time versus $14, that makes a really big difference on your paycheck. Okay, so I wanted to show you this because I don't know if you are getting each of these types of payments, but if you've ever been confused, I just want to take a second and tell you what they are. This is my check from this week, actually. I just copied it and put it on here. So the first one is obvious. That's the one you're all getting, I'm sure. It's retail commission. That's what you're selling. That's the 25 to 40% if you're selling challenge packs or whatever. The subscription commission, those are people that are renewing their Beachbody on-demand packages. I don't think, now that I just said that, maybe Shakeology commission or Shakeology subscriptions are in there too when they renew them. But for me, what I see in there usually is Beachbody on-demand renewing. Team bonus, those are the team cycle bonuses I was just telling you about. So notice my team cycle bonuses are well above commission. So it's really important that you're paying attention to team cycle bonuses and you're growing your team, because that is what's going to be the bulk of your income once you are making a full-time income. Matching bonus, that's pretty sweet, because once you start building a team and they are making team cycle bonuses, you get a percentage of their team cycle bonuses. So for example, and I can't remember the percentage, maybe it's 10. Yeah, it's 10. So I made $468 this week for my team cycle bonus. So Megan's check on the matching bonus is going to reflect 10% of my team cycle bonus. So $46.80 is what she'll get from me specifically. And she has lots of coaches who are doing really well and building teams, so she's getting those matching bonuses. Fast start bonus, That's from coaches. You don't get it in commission. I don't really know why, but your fast start bonuses is whenever you sign up coaches with challenge packs. And then fast start plus bonus, that's if you sign up 5 coaches within a 5-week period, they reward you with $100, which is pretty cool. I've gotten that maybe twice. It's pretty rare for me, but I have gotten it. I see somebody chatting. Yes, Morgan. Make sure you're active. That is true. If you're not active, you're not going to be getting team cycle bonuses. And yes, Tiffany, it can cycle more than once a day. Like it will cycle more than once a day. It should, once you start building your team up. Okay, so this is so crazy to me when I think about how my income has changed. And I didn't understand all of this. I still feel like I'm like just on the brink of learning. But I didn't pay any attention to any of this until probably January. So I tell you that for a couple reasons. 1, you don't have to be an expert. 2, I was making a full-time income before I understood it, which is a little embarrassing, but I want you to know that it's important to understand, because if you don't understand, you don't know how to work your business and maximize your income, and you have that opportunity. So take a look at my volume from my first month of coaching. I started in June, but I didn't really pick up anything. I started the very end of June, so I used July. You can see my volume on my right leg, which is my strong leg, is completely empty. I have zeros on my right leg. And on my left leg, I do have some numbers. But number 1, I was not Emerald. And number 2, I didn't have any coaches, so I barely had any volume my first month. Everybody's would look like this. Now, the one on the bottom is my volume from May of this year. Oh, shoot. Does it have the whole thing? Okay, yeah, it does. I was like, what's happening? Something on mine was hidden. So if you notice on my top one with volume, my strong leg is my right leg. And I know that because I get volume from the women that Megan signed up after me. So that's why I do have some volume in my first month on my strong leg. They're not from coaches I added. They're from coaches Megan added. And you're going to have the same thing. Anybody that's been added after you, you're getting volume from them. And then my left leg is empty because I hadn't had any coaches on that side yet. Okay. And then the far side, the far left side, that's my personal volume from things I was selling. Now the bottom one, obviously I'm 2 years in now. I've built up my team. My strong leg is my right leg. Sometimes my volume, it looks like, was lower in May, but that's not happened since then. That very rarely happens. So my obvious strong leg is my right leg. So I am collecting volume from my coaches and Megan's coaches that signed up after me. And then my left leg is completely my team, my personally sponsored coaches, and that's their volume on my left leg. So you can see the difference in my volume is massive, right? Like growing your team changes your volume like crazy, and that's 2 years of growth. Okay, so let's look at income, because this is kind of mind-blowing. It's crazy. I love sharing this. So in July of my first year, I only added those 3 dates in July because I noticed that 1 week in July I was at 0, and I don't know, I just didn't add it. So my first month, June 2017, it was July. I hit Success Club 28, and that's a pretty good number. Like I don't know what my average is, but that's probably higher than my average, and that was my first month ever, and I made $639. That's a good amount of money. I mean, I was extremely pleased with $639, especially right out the gates. I was like blown away. But look down at May of this year, my income has changed tremendously since then. And the thing that I think is the most crazy about this is whenever you don't have a long-term mindset with coaching, and when you don't have the team building mindset with coaching, you really can't comprehend what team volume will do for you, and what team cycle bonuses will do with you, and what growing your team will do for you. You're so uber concerned about commission because you think that's how you're making your most money, and you are right now. But my commission versus my team cycle bonuses in May, I wish I had the breakdown, but I don't. My team cycle bonuses were way more than my commission. So in July of 17, I hit Success Club 28, making around $600. In May of this year, I only hit Success Club 10 and I made $3,200. So it had nothing to do with my commission, which is a good thing because I personally don't want to have to like be adding 100 girls, 3 years down the road in order to keep up my income. The fortune really is in building up your team and being a leader for your team. That's where my income is coming from now, because I'm making a lot of times, most times, around $500 a week from team cycle bonuses. I'm not relying on commission because my commission fluctuates a lot. The sustainable income really does come from building your team and making team cycle bonuses. So that's why ranks are important. That's why we talk about ranks a lot. And that's why we host Emerald calls. And that's why it's so important for you to get to Diamond, because at Diamond, you're maximizing your team cycle bonuses. And I want to go ahead and tell you that once you get to Emerald or once you get to Diamond, that's not the stopping point. Like, that's the starting point. I see as like when you get to Diamond, that's when your business has like officially, that's when it's going to take off. Your income isn't going to go crazy right when you hit Diamond, but it is going to start building. And that's whenever you really are beginning to build a sustainable business, and when your team cycle bonuses are going to start to be pretty secure and you'll start building your full-time income. So just for like, I guess planning sake, if any of you are thinking like, gosh, I would love to do this full-time, it does take building your team consistently. And I would say like a realistic view of building this income is about 2 years. I was a year and a half in when I was like, I think I could do this full-time. Like, I'm getting to that full-time income. And even now, I would say for me to say like a set full-time income, I'm still building there, but we're going to make it work. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about is signing up your spouse or somebody else that's close to you, like a mom or a sister, somebody's account that you can control. Again, I'm not going to go into a ton of detail about this because there's a really good video on YouTube, and I think the best way to learn is by using our resources, and this lady can explain it way better than I can. But the things I do want you to know is that when you sign up your spouse or whoever it is that you're controlling their account, it is massive income potential, massive. And you don't have to understand all of it before you go ahead and take action and you do it. Trust the people who have gone before you. Trust me, trust Megan, trust other girls on our team, trust other Beachbody coaches. Nobody would tell you to do this if it didn't make sense. And I hope that you can trust us when we tell you that. This person that you're signing up needs to go on the top of your weak leg. And that's because somebody is probably already at the top of your strong leg. You want to control somebody on your weak leg. You want to have control of that. And Ethan's team volume is like the same as mine on one of his legs because of the place I've placed him. And he's been there for 2 years. And I will tell you that I did not see, I'll go ahead and go to the next slide. I didn't see any benefit from having him there for a long time. I would say until just recently. And that's okay, because I trusted that the women who told me that was a good idea, I trusted it was a good idea, and I just did it. I was like, I don't really know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to do this because everybody says it's a good thing. So check out Ethan's progression with volume. I went ahead and looked at May of last year versus May of this year, and it's really kind of crazy the difference in income when the difference in numbers doesn't look too impressive. So on the top, this was last year. I was not paying attention to Ethan's account. It was just kind of there. He did have some coaches, but nobody was really working. They were discount coaches. Nothing was going on with his account. So he has tons of volume on his left leg because that is my leg. That's his strong leg. So all of the people that I signed up on my weak leg after Ethan, he is collecting their volume. So he has an insane amount of volume that's rolled over on his strong leg. So where you see all of those zeros, that's his weak leg, because his business, I wasn't building it. So he was not getting volume. So he was not making commission because I wasn't working it. He was not making team cycle bonuses because I don't know if he was Emerald, but he was not collecting volume at all. He was just sitting there. And by that time, he had been signed up for a while as a coach, probably like 9 months or so. He was signed up and wasn't making any money. I was okay with that. I was expecting that. But this year, I decided I wanted to start growing his business a little bit more. I'm semi pushing him to diamond. I could be working harder on that, but there's some reasons I'm kind of taking it slow. Anyway, in May, I made some very strategic decisions to place some people in certain places whenever I signed them up to start getting his volume up, because I realized I'm wasting all of his team volume. Like, I could be making team cycle bonuses with him and then maximizing my income even a little bit more. So I made some of those decisions. And if you can see on the right side there, his weak leg began to collect some volume. And it's not much. Look at those little baby numbers. They're very small, but week after week, it begins to add up. So in May, he did not make any. He might have made a fast start bonus. Like maybe he signed up a coach in May, or me, not him. Maybe I signed up a coach on his account in May, but for the most part, I'll show you. His income. So last May was 0, and this May it was $216 because I made some strategic decisions to put some people in a position where he would collect their volume. So his account has been sitting there for a long time, making 0 money for me, having 0, like I didn't pay attention to it at all. But by putting just a little bit of strategic effort into his account, it collected $200 last month. And that's a pretty big deal. Like, that's a really big deal. And I'm just at the beginning of his account. So you can see already, imagine if his account starts making the same amount as my account. I've doubled my income because of the place I've put him. The reason it's so important is because look at his left, like, I don't know if you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor when I'm moving it around? Okay. So the reason it's so important is because look at his volume. That's massive. Like, that's massive potential. If he was somewhere else on my downline, I wouldn't have that potential with his account because he wouldn't be collecting as much team volume. So that's why it's really important to put them on the very top, even when you don't understand, even when you're like, this is crazy. I know it feels really weird, but I promise you it's worth it. And maybe not right away, but that's okay. This is a marathon business, not a sprint. Okay, so rank advancing, I want to quickly go over this. Again, if you don't understand the way rank advancing works, I highly encourage you to look into it because you need to be knowledgeable. Knowledge is power. If you don't know how this works, it's going to be hard to really move your business forward. So I already talked about Emerald. It's important because it's the first step. Like, if you're going to make full-time income, you just got to be Emerald. So you've just got to get there, get it out of the way. That's when you make team cycle bonuses. The next one is Diamond. 4 coaches on your left, 4 coaches on your right, and 1 Emerald on each leg. Here, your team cycle bonuses go from 14 to 18. You might have been Ruby in between there, but we don't talk about Ruby very much. That's also another rank. And the really exciting part about Diamond is that means you're starting to grow a team, like a bigger team. When I hit Diamond is when I really started to focus on my team page and like being a leader of my team. Diamond changed my business, not because of the income, not because of the bigger team cycle bonus, because when I hit Diamond, what changed was me. I was like, dang, I have a lot of people. I have a team. I have 8 people that I'm leading now. So I need to get to leading. Like, that's what Diamond did for me. And then after Diamond, you're going for Star Diamond. So Star Diamond means that you have helped one of your coaches advance to Diamond, which is so fun. When you have 1 diamond under you, you're a 1-star diamond. So one of your coaches, you've helped rank advance to diamond. When you hit 1-star diamond, you get an all-inclusive trip to Los Angeles. What company does that? Like, I got to go in February to Los Angeles, paid for by Beachbody, to be trained by the top leaders in the company. I did have to pay to get there, but I didn't pay for anything else. I paid for my flight, and it was pretty cheap. So 1-star diamond should be on your vision board if it is not. Like, it's such a cool opportunity. And I know several of you on this call can make it to that trip by next year. Is it going to take time and effort and work? Heck yes, it is going to take a lot of effort and time, but you can totally do it. I know you can. If you hit it, I can't remember the cutoff date. It's sometime in the fall. It might even be like super late fall. I can't remember. After that is 2-star diamond, and 2-star diamond is you have 2 coaches under you who are diamond, one on your right, one on your left. Currently, I'm 1-star, by the way. So I've made a full-time income at 1-star. But they say that there's a pretty large income jump at 2-star because, I'm not going to go into vast detail because I'm not even there yet, and I'm a one step at a time person, and I just still need to do my research. But you get to open up a second business center once you get to 2-star diamond. So that means that I get to open up basically another coach account under myself, and it affects team volume like crazy. Basically, you start getting volume off of yourself. It is the weirdest thing, and our compensation plan is seriously, it works so much in favor for us that it's crazy. It's like you're double dipping into your own income whenever you get to 2-star, and I cannot wait to experience that. After that, you have 3-star, you have 4-star, and then 5-star is probably the next big thing. 5-star is a part of being an elite team, which is really cool. If you don't know what that is, start looking into the Road to Elite. And there are some bonuses, like really good bonuses. Once you get to 2-star, actually, Beachbody rewards you with quarterly bonuses, and they grow as your team grows. So like, I can't remember the percentages, I don't know. But when you're 2-star diamond, you're probably going to make somewhere around an extra $1,000 a quarter. So an extra $4,000 in a year just for being a good leader. And then once you get to 5-star, it's getting up there. You're getting like $2,500 to $3,000 extra quarterly. Like, what the heck? Who does that? Just for being a good leader, you're rewarded. So I just want to give you the bigger picture, because a lot of times we think that we're working for diamond. You're not working for diamond. Diamond is a necessary step. But if you get to diamond and you start relaxing, and you think, oh, that's the goal, you're not going to get the full-time income. It's about growing your team and consistently growing yourself as a leader to help other people see this success. Like, I have seen success and I have a full-time income, but I'm not going to stop there, because I want you to experience what I've experienced as a coach. I want you to have a full-time income. And I want you to have the choice to be able to step away from whatever full-time job you have. And I want you to have the option to stay home with your babies if that's something you want. But that includes growing your team, rank advancing, and working consistently. So it's not enough for me to be successful. I want you to be successful as well. And eventually it'll be your job to help your team succeed as well. It's so cool. This is my favorite part for sure. Commission is cool. Challenge groups are cool, but I love this. So diamond is not the goal. It's a necessary step along the way. All right. So just in conclusion, I want you to remember, because it can get very like numbers heavy, and kind of going back to the beginning of like shaming yourself about making money, all of these numbers represent people. And I think that's a really important thing to remember when we're talking about Success Club points. Those equal people's lives that are being changed. When we talk about team volume, those numbers, they represent people and lives changed. You are doing amazing work. You are doing worthwhile work, and you're getting paid to do it, and there's nothing better than that. Number 2, you have to keep in mind, commission's cool, like sweet. We make 25 to 40%, but it's not a lasting income on its own. You cannot rely on commission alone to build your business and to give you that sustainable income, especially if you're working towards a full-time income. Not necessarily it being your full-time job, because you can make a full-time income on part-time hours forever. Like, how sweet would it be if you're passionate about teaching and you get to make an extra $2,500 a month on your part-time job, that you get to choose your hours? Like, I wish that I wanted to teach still, because I'm losing half of my income because I don't want to teach. But if I wanted to teach, like, I've thought about this so many times, we would never have to hurt for money because of this. Like, my debt would be paid off in a flash in this next year. We'd be able to save like crazy, people. It would be awesome. Like, I can't think of anything better really than loving your full-time job and having this on the side. I'm jealous of you if that's your situation in the future. But for me, I truly am so passionate and so excited about doing this full-time. But it's a sweet part-time gig. It really is. Thirdly, your lasting income really does come from building your team. And I love that because being a leader and leading people in this business is the best part. There's just something so different about helping people build their teams and build their businesses than there is your challenge group. And I think a lot of it is whenever somebody signs up to be a coach, they're like your people now. Like, that's how I see it. When you sign up to be a client with me, I know that you're flighty. Like, I'm like, they could fall off the face of the earth at any point. But when people sign up to be coaches, I know that we're set. I know that a coach is like in my corner and I'm going to get to be a part of some really long journey with this person. That's why it's so exciting to me when people sign up. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. I'm going to assume that somebody out there probably has questions. So I know that was kind of a lot, but what questions do you have for me? And it can be, I'm totally open to chat numbers if you have specific questions about what I did, because I've learned the most from my experience. Anything at all.
For me, I just know it's a matter of sitting down and doing it because it is doable. And like the success that I was seeing in like January, February, March, and I'm like, oh, okay, like we're rolling. And then just like taking that little bit of time turned into taking a lot of time of like, I'm busy. So I know that like that's literally all it is for me, is just sitting down, doing it, and not making excuses about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes very intentional consistency to grow your income too. Like, and that's something could be a negative or a positive. I don't know. For me, it's a positive because as sad as it is, I was never encouraged to like work that way as a teacher. And I guess it was because I'm so like, I like external rewards. I guess that's just me. It was hard for me to stay consistent and working hard and super passionate about what I was doing. And with coaching, it's like, no, I see direct fruits of my labor every single day when I'm consistent. So that's helpful for me. Do you feel overwhelmed at all about anything I shared?